What is going on, guys? Jack here, and welcome back to episode 47 of Towel or Town here. It's part to Prem. I've done that in the wrong order, but we're just going to go with it because today everything is a little bit crazy. Yes, it's another Livecom doubleheader today, but first and foremost, we start on this page, which you might look at and go, what is this? Why are we on a comparison page? Who is Paul Johnson? Why is Gooda up here? Why is he surplus to requirements? It's January. You can see the bid icon here. It's a very weird sequence of events. So Gooda's had transfer offers for him, and the board decided to accept a Millwall and Hull offer of, well, you can see here, about £200,000. Slight discrepancy between their two bids. After that, Wigan and Barnsley came in, and I was given the option to negotiate with them, so I did. You can see Barnsley offered £650,000 a week. Oh, not a week, just a fee. And then Sheffield Wednesday came in the day after that and said, hey, how about £700,000, guys? And the chairman went, yeah, we're taking that. You can't say no. So we're in this weird situation where Gooda is almost certainly leaving the club. He could leave for £200,000. He could leave for £700,000. And unfortunately, because a few of these lower offers were accepted by the chairman in the beginning, I can't cancel them myself. So we're hoping that over the course of today's episode, Gooda goes to Sheffield Wednesday. So that brings us on to Paul Johnson. Obviously, Gooda is going to leave at this point. I've accepted that. And Johnson is the man who we've brought in to be his replacement. And he's a very interesting player because he plays, as you can see here, for Nottingham Forest. Yes, a player who we've loaned from them on £140 a week, which is crazy, crazy cheap. And, well, you can see here, if we go to contract, his contract expires at Nottingham Forest at the end of the year, and we've negotiated an optional future fee of £40,000, which brings us on to the comparison with Gooda, because, yeah, Johnson, who you'd say probably is the better player, at least on a technical standpoint, is a possible replacement signed for a fraction of the price. It's a weird situation where we've kind of done the transfer business before we needed to, but Gooda's gone, Johnson's in, and he is going to play in today's game. And, well, I said last episode we were coming back just for Stockport. I didn't spot it. I'm sure some of you guys did. We also had Swindon Town to take on. So today, Swindon Town, Stockport County, 2 games that we have to play back to back. We're not going to do them seamlessly in between the matches because I've got some stuff to do today, unfortunately. We can't do what we did last time. Yes, I have a life to live, so we're going to have to cut in between, which means the Gooda saga should be resolved potentially by the end of play of this episode. But as you can see, looking at the league table, things have shuffled around a little bit. Swindon Town sit top of the dog pile. They've played a game more than Stockport, who sit on 72 points. And, well, you can see here, we are 8 points behind Swindon with 31 games played. Of course, still 15 games left of the season. We are only, about 68% of the way through the year. Still plenty of football to be played. And 2 games against Swindon here could really very much make or break our season. You can see Swindon are in some great form, as are Hartlepool and Dagenham, and, well, our form has been patchy at best. Let's discuss it. So last time out, 2 pretty solid results, I feel like, on the face of it, and I was feeling good after those. 4 games played. Not so great now, is it? We started off with a defeat against Lewis, a humiliating defeat, a team who I have managed, as you guys will know. Back on Football Manager, what year would it have been? I think 2015? That feels like a long time. Well, it is a long time ago, I guess, really. But yes, we lost to them 1-0. Did play a fully rotated team. Not that excuses the result. I can't underestimate how disappointing that was. I was hoping that having gone out of that competition, a new focus on the league was really going to help us grind out some results, and it didn't turn out that way. The first game we had against Boston, 4-4 it finished. Boston is my hometown. I used to go to York Street on the regular growing up. It was 4-2 at half-time. We'd gone 2-0 up, we conceded 2, fought back to reclaim our 2-goal lead, and in the second half we collapsed, and a 94th minute goal by Matt Edwards crushed our soul. And, I had a little bit of a cry after that. 4-4 it finished. That was not ideal. We followed that up with a good result against Torquay, and Misador finally scoring. I think he'd played something like 8 hours of competitive football without a goal, although he did have a good showing against Stockport last episode with his assist. But yes, a good little touchdown by him, nice finish there. And following on from that, we took on Solihull Moors in a game that has been postponed once, twice. I can't remember at this point. It's been pushed back. We were meant to play it back in December. We finally played it now. I kind of wish we hadn't played it. We lost 3-1. We were embarrassed in this game. With the transfer of Gooda in the balance, I decided to start Ollie Younger in this game. This was before Paul had signed for us, however. Younger did get on the score sheet, to be fair, and when he made it 2-1, you thought, well, maybe the comeback could happen. It did not. In the second half, Cowie grabbed his second of the game. Solihull Moors running out 3-1 victors, and I don't really know what to tell you. It's not acceptable. It is not good enough, this recent run of games. And we now look down the barrel of a loaded gun. It's like a double-barrel shotgun of a Swindon and a Stockport in either barrel, both away from home. 2 must-win games for us. If we do lose either or both of these games, I think we kind of have to accept that with 14 games left of the year, we're probably looking at a playoff spot this year, which we are still very comfortably in by 14 points. Of course, it would be ideal to finish still in the top 3 because the second and third place teams come into the playoffs at a slightly later stage, so that would still very much be the focus. But in terms of live comms this year, I would be half tempted if we don't get results today, just to go towards the end of the season, really, go for a big chunk of games because, well, barring a miracle, it's going to be a mighty tall order to turn things around. So in terms of team news, DKM is actually out injured. He is not required to take a fitness test. We could play him, but that match condition is not very good at all. So I'm going to make a little bit of a weird change. We're going to play Wern out on the left, and we're going to give a start out on the right wing for a Missador, a player who he's played twice there and actually played awfully. So now I'm having second thoughts. What to do? I could bring in Lindsay, who, to be fair, Lindsay's actually had some good form as of late, so we'll take DKM out, play Lindsay as a winger on the left. In terms of the rest of the teams, Kane Patterson can come out to Dunstan as well. I have been trying to rotate things just a little bit with fitness. I don't want to handicap us too much, and I feel like after the Lewis game, I kind of came to the realisation that when I play managing bigger teams, I can afford to have a first choice 11 and a second choice 11 because you can make 2 very good teams. The reality here is at Towlaw, with the money that we have, we don't have 2 kind of starting 11s, I say in kind of quotations with my fingers, that can just, interchange seamlessly. The reality is that we have a starting 11 that is significantly better than the rest of the squad. And perhaps I've made the mistake this year of rotating it a little too often, particularly in the cup competitions. Alas, it's a 46-game season. We've had a few injuries. It's not been particularly easy for us. So if we were to get promoted, and it's looking like it would have to be via the playoffs, maybe the rotation justifies itself. Anyway, as I've been rambling away, we have got into this game against Swindon. They are second in the... Well, no, they're top of the league right now, but they have played a game more than Stockport. So they're going to absolutely want to win this. It looks like it's going to be a Swindon-Stockport duel at the top of the table, and really we are trying to play party pooper today. Although 2 wins maybe changes things around. We'll have to wait and see how things play out here, I suppose. Although early on in this game we're having a decent amount of possession, but we are very much on the back foot here as the ball is dinked through and Coburn is there. And that's not ideal, is it? I mean, Swindon, a very, very, very good team. It can't be denied. I feel like we do have to look at our defence through, I want to say, rose-tinted glasses. I feel like we have to give a bit of the element of kind of the benefit of the doubt, I suppose. Johnson, who was debatably at fault for that, has just come into the team today. Obviously, throwing him in a little bit the deep end. There was the option to start Younger, but decided that wasn't really what I wanted to do. I want to see how, Johnson can do as the new signing. And, we'll keep an eye on him here. As Mampala breaks through, can he finish this? Tight angle keeper makes a superb stop. Tips it around the left post, and Mampala, on his weaker foot, struck it fairly cleanly. But they did deal with it quite well. And now, we have a set piece. Lindsay got a bit of a point to prove. Perhaps a bee in his bonnet, the left winger. Formerly of Scarborough, of course. Scarbados, as the kids call it. And, he's not played too much this year. A point to prove, certainly. We'll see how he gets on. Smolio has now just become our first choice keeper. I'm sorry to Joey Hands, but we have a player in goal with Championship or perhaps Premier League potential, at least in the eyes of our staff. I have to play him, don't I? Mampala hits it. Okay, that was a little ambitious, wasn't it now? I think Manasseh knows that was a little ambitious as well. They don't fly in from that range. We now have a free kick to deal with here. Johnson, the new player, giving it away. Doherty hits it. Smoljo hits it onto the crossbar. Can we deal with the rebound? Oh my word. It was offside. Okay, for a second I thought one of our defenders had made a heroic clearance off the line. At the break, it's 1-0 to them. Few players looking a little bit frustrated. The average rating's looking pretty disappointing across the board. I don't want to change anything too crazily here because we are having a decent amount of possession. We have created a clear-cut chance. And while starting this half, we have the ball in their half. Although they deal with it. We bring it back forward. Dunstan can't get his ball into the box. Sesse deals with it. Warrington back to Dunstan. Trying to pen them in their own half. Although Swindon will now look to spring a surprise on the counter-attack. Coburn cuts inside. 1 goal to his name already, this time straight at Smoljo. You know what? I'm gonna make the change that we made previously. You might remember last game where we kind of go to a flat midfield, but I'm then going to set the inverted wingers to be on attack. I feel like this just might help us just to win the battle in the midfield that little bit more. Doherty with it here, clears it out. I mean, it's a superb header by Conroy. I don't think we can look at the tactical change as the reason for that fault. That is just a very good set piece by Swindon, and we beat them 4-1 earlier on in the year before they really established themselves as one of the teams up at the top. They have not lost in a very long time. They look red hot to win the league now, and this result kind of just exercises their superiority, it feels like. Of course, our budget, a fraction of theirs. Not really been able to make much in the way of transfer moves during the season this year because of the wage budget situation. I was about to make a change, but then another highlight started. Stockport winning their game against Kettering as well. As I said, we're going to have to buck our ideas up. I don't know whether or not to pin this just on our general lack of quality. I mean, the media expectation this year is 5th. The board expectation is reach the playoffs. We're on course for it. We're not going to overachieve like we have in previous years. I actually feel like, given our current position, I don't really want to change anything too drastically. I know with episodes and with live comms, you guys see these kind of games, the games against teams who are the best teams in the league. Naturally, we are going to struggle more in them. You have to trust me when I say in a lot of our other games, we do play really, really well, and we see glimpses of it. We saw it last episode with 2 superb results. It's just a bit of a bad day at the office here, and Swindon are quite good. Away from home against them, it's never going to be easy. I've been rambling away here and not made any tactical changes. We'll go with a double change here and bring in Misador and Kumwenda. It's probably going to be a little bit too little too late. We'll bring in Diaz as well. But the sad reality is in this game, we've not really looked at it. We've got 5 minutes. If we could score now, maybe there's a chance. Diaz plays inside to Wern. Kumwenda falls to Lindsay. He can't score it. Blocked away twice. That was a clear-cut chance, I believe. And we've created stuff, which is the unfortunate thing. We've just lacked that clinical edge, and they have punished us, Swindon. They have taken their opportunities. It's been a very even game, but they could, well, I was about to say they could embarrass us. They are going to embarrass us. It's 3-0 here now. Smoljo gets a hand to the free kick by Doherty. Could not prevent it from going over the line. Not the best debut for the new centre-back and for the new look defence without Gooda. I don't feel like Gooda's a player we're going to miss. A few of you have observed it in live comms. He was quite mistake-prone. He wasn't a natural defender necessarily. Incredible physicals and aerial ability, but as far as defensive technicals, just wasn't quite there. But, well, Swindon, they put us to the sword. You can see now why Swindon are in such good form. They have, well, you can see their form here. They've won all but 1 game in the league, dating all the way back to the last week of November. That's a ridiculous run of form, isn't it? They've won their last 8, and they're unbeaten in their last 13, I want to say, if I can count. They're a difficult team to play. I feel like that result has flattered them a little. That doesn't make it any easier to take. You can see Kumwenda's now played 7 matches without finding the net, although a few appearances there on off the bench. A bit of unfair criticism, perhaps. Anyway, the good news is we've got Stockport next, so things are only going to get easier for us. I'm going to jump forward to that game. There is going to be the Gooda saga to play out. We'll have to see how things go on there. But yeah, I've got some real life stuff to sort out. We'll be back soon. I'm going to mentally reset, stop crying, wipe away the tears, and well, we will go again and attempt to overthrow Stockport and, well, at least secure that top 3 finish, which could prove all important come the playoffs. So folks, the transfer window has slammed shut, at least for a lot of teams across England, including those teams who were interested in Gooda. As you can see here, we did get kind of lucky. He agreed to go to Sheffield Wednesday, which was the biggest transfer fee that we had offered. Almost £750,000 for Luke Gooda. He will be missed. He's, a good player with some good potential. I have no doubt that he could turn into a fantastic little player. Who knows? Maybe we'll stumble across him down the line. But to be honest, the amount of money we've got for him is far beyond what I expected to get for him. Obviously, the chairman decided it was too good to refuse. I'm not going to disagree with that. We've had £550,000 added to the transfer budget. We did have to pay a fairly hefty chunk to Liverpool. That was one of the agreements to sign him early. When we approach to sign players at the end of their contracts, you have 2 options. You can either approach to sign the player or make a transfer offer of £0. I wanted to do that with Gooda, but Liverpool actually wouldn't accept a £0 offer, so I decided at the time to approach to sign him, so we got him on a free at the end of his contract instead of paying Liverpool anything. As part of that percentage sell-on fee that you can see there was agreed. So you might be wondering, Jack, what have you done with that money? We're busy with it, folks. We are very, very busy with it. Of course, Gooda has gone out. We also had Nick Harvey stolen away from us, which I'm a little upset about, but he was an okay prospect in our youth team. He's gone to Fylde. I think that's how you say it, Fylde. They are in League One, so maybe he'll turn out to be some incredible player, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it. In terms of transfer dealings, what am I doing? I'm currently looking at Daniel Kemp as a possible loan option from AFC Wimbledon. Shuttleworth is coming back to full fitness slowly but surely, but I did want to look at perhaps other players in the wide areas. It's one of those positions which we have Lindsay, we have Barr. Neither has done a massive amount on off the bench. Maybe looking at a temporary loan option would be a wise move. And Daniel Kemp here looks pretty good, previously of West Ham. You can see here he played for Woking in the National League, and he did okay for a few years playing for Woking. So who knows, he could be a useful little player. Other players are signing, really excited about these. So out of all the transfers we've done so far, I feel like most people, certainly I would agree with, is the fact that Smoljol is our best transfer. I think most people would agree on that. He was a good player. He was a player who was playing for the Croatian national team but didn't have a club. And you get these players who generate not at sides. It's particularly common with Russia. But basically I went through all the national teams and I was looking at players who weren't attached to clubs at national teams and then seeing which of those players had generated as free agents. As you can see from this little list here, 4 players, 3 of them currently going through work permits, which is a little bit of a nightmare. 2 of them I've offered wages, which should mean they get work permits. I don't believe they're going to be able to join us till they're 18 anyway, which is a bit of a problem, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. In terms of the players, enough beating around the bush. João Martins is looking exceptional. He is a little Portuguese youngster. He will officially sign for Town Law in July 2026. That is in a year and a half's time, so planning kind of for the future with these, but it's good to think ahead, IMO. We've also got a couple of Russians. Yegor Kokolov. He's 16. He's got 7 caps for the under-21s. He plays centre mid. I don't know a great deal about him, but I'm happy to take a punt. He has a birthday in a little while as well. These players we're not going to see for a few years, so take note of them now. We'll see how much they've improved by the time they actually are ready to join. The next player we have is Matthew Dimitri. I don't think that's how you say his name, but he's played for the full Canadian national team. That is really, really cool. He's actually going to turn 18 in August of this summer. So if we do manage to pull off this signing, he would be able to play for us come the summer. I don't know how good he is. I can't afford to scout him, and we don't have enough scouting budget. I'm just going to work on the assumption that he's played for the Canadian national team, so he must be quite good. That might come back to bite us, but I like a risk, and I feel like this is a fairly safe risk. Anyway, the last player, perhaps the one I'm most excited about, we have here Andrey Tsvetkov. Another Russian, I'm sure Alexander Mukin is loving this as chairman. But this guy's 16 years old, 9 goals in 721 games for Russia. He has finishing between 12 and 18, passing between 12 and 20. His pace and acceleration look like they could be quite good. And, well, you can see here from a very early scout report, which we used our last little bit of scouting budget for, he could be very, very tasty indeed. We'll have to keep our eye on him. More to come, I guess, when we know more about these players. In terms of the finances, how they're looking now with that big sale, overall balance is £700,000. You'll notice that we are under our wage budget because I took a decent chunk of the £500,000 or so that were given to us for the transfer budget, put them into the wage budget. So you can see here we're under wage budget and our transfer budget currently sits at £300,000. I believe we can still sign players as a National League side. Will we sign anyone? If the right player comes along, maybe. But the more I think about it, the more I'm sat thinking maybe we'll just wait on all this money for a little while and, see what we can do come the end of the year. I feel like right now we're doing quite well, cruising towards the playoffs, which was always the expectation this year. And we could be in League 2 next year. We could be in this division again. And there's quite a big gulf, I guess, in quality difference between those two tiers. Until I know which league I'm in, I don't want to go too crazy signing players with 6 months left of this year. So anyway, let's get into today's game against Stockport. It's been just about a week since the last game. I'm a little annoyed about it still. I've decided to drop Paul Johnson and we're going to give Ollie Younger the nod. I really, really like Ollie Younger. He's played a decent number of games for us over the years. 70 in total, of course, joined us a number of years ago now and has always performed quite well. And even this year, when we've given him chances, he's done the business. So we're going to give him a chance alongside Gannon. These two are going to rekindle their relationship of old. At left back, James Norris, just one last little bit of transfer news. He's extended his loan until the end of next season. The exact same terms as the current loan, £650 a week. So we've got another year and a half of the Ginger Ninja at left back, which is a massive, massive move. I'm particularly happy about that as a piece of transfer business because he has been a very, very solid player for us this year. So anyway, let's get into this game, shall we? Stockport County, unfortunately, with the result against Swindon, any hope realistically at winning the league has kind of gotten away from us. But as I mentioned before, with the playoff format that's fairly new, I believe, in the National League, it used to be that just first to fifth played in a typical playoff semi-final, then playoff finals. Now with the National Leagues, basically what happens is there are 6 teams that go into the playoffs. That is 2nd, 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th and, 7th in our case. The lower 4 of the 6 teams play each other in a bracket. The 2 winners of those games, so the winners of, say, 4th versus 7th and 5th versus 6th, they then play against the teams who finish 2nd and 3rd in the league. And, well, I'm talking about all the playoff format. Let's focus on this game, shall we? We're 1 goal up. Maybe we can still win the league. We've got to go in with that attitude. As I mentioned before, there's still there's only 70% of the season gone. One team could easily fall off the pace. I mean, for the last month, it's been us. We need a turnaround, and recent player form hasn't been good, but with an early goal here, maybe that will settle the nerves. Of course, a memorable game last time we took on Stockport. We went 2 down last time we played them before a sending off really swung the tie. Let's hope we're not relying on a sending off here. And well, so far it's been pretty good, hasn't it? DKM out on the left-hand side, back to Norris. Now with Warrington. Dinks the play over to a Dunstan, who still hasn't signed a new contract, but we will be working on that now that we have a wage budget. Similar story with Mampala as well, who is still on a part-time deal. Unfortunately, with some interest being shown in him over January, he's hesitant to sign a new deal. We'll hope that, now it looks like he's going to stay, we can keep him on. And for a second I thought he was going to score. He was actually saved by the keeper. I thought he'd hit the outside of the woodwork. It was a weird angle to witness the shot from, but no, keeper with a huge stop, ball whipped in, Brown collects it again, and well, Brown has a very good goalkeeping record for Stockport, and their defensive record's been quite good this year. The fact we've scored 3 goals against them in 2 games is exceptional because they had kept an obscene number of clean sheets at one point. I think they had something like 25 games played and only 12 goals conceded. I'm not sure what it's like now, but we're certainly putting a dent into it, and DKM hits the woodwork here now. Stewart, can he keep it alive? Of course he cannot. Gannon's picked up a knock. I'm going to play this really safe because the centre-back position I'm not overly convinced by. We're going to bring in Paul Johnson. I don't want to aggravate an injury with Gannon. We will hope that Johnson can do the business. Brought in on loan from Nottingham Forest. There's expectation there, certainly. Anyway, build-up play good here by us. Norris at left-back, bringing it forward. Hits the woodwork again? Or was that saved? If that was saved, that was absolutely incredible, and I think it was. My word, their keeper is insane. And while they deal with the corner, so far it's been very much one-way traffic in terms of highlights. They have created the odd chance here, Stockport, and while they look to create one on the counter, although we block the cross from coming in from Merson. And we retain our goal lead, and another highlight starts in their half. It looks like it's going to be a free kick. Indeed it is. Wern, a bit of a free kick specialist, hits it. The keeper can't stop that one. It's 2-0 here. This makes me more annoyed about the last result against Swindon. I'm going to level with you. The fact that we did so poorly in that game and then in this game so far against a team who should overtake Swindon if they win games in hand, we're winning 2-0. It just feels... I don't want to say it feels puzzling because football doesn't work in a game of rock, paper, scissors, but at the same time it just makes me feel like we should have given Swindon a better game. Anyway, we go into the second half here, 2 goals up. Defensively, we look solid. We've got another set piece here. DKM whips it in. It's cleared away, but DKM should be able to keep this alive here. Plays it across to Younger. Now with Warrington. Younger again. Jones. Nice build-up play here. Wern. Stephen with a P, should I say. Can't get the ball in on this occasion. Stockport looking to unleash the counter. Smith with it. Burns past us. Can we stop him getting the shot away? We can't, but Smoyo, first time he's really been called into action and we've witnessed it. Tipping that shot over the crossbar from range. They do now have a corner. Can we deal with this? We don't need to because Smolyo's in there and he's just going to catch the ball. In a previous life, he was drafted into the NBA. In this reality, Town snapped him up. An hour gone, and I feel like because it's how you're meant to play football and handle your subs, we should make a sub. So I'll tell you what we're going to do. We're going to bring in a Missador out on the right, and we're going to move Wern out onto the left-hand side. We'll only make the one change, though. I'd love to have a sub in our back pocket, just in case of injury, just in case of a sending off, in case we do get forced into some changes. It's always good to have that extra sub there. But, I mean, Stockport... been very, very disappointing for the most part. We've taken the half chances that have come our way, and while we could create something new here, as a Missador has an effort from range. Teeny bit ambitious, perhaps, to score from there, but I'm not going to knock him for trying, and the time just whittles away here, and we're going to get a very, very good result. There could still be one more goal in it, but a clean sheet at this point would be huge away from home against Stockport County. Ball's whipped in, headed away. Jones hits it on the volley, makes it 3-0. I mean, we'll call it even for this episode, I guess. A 0 goal difference in the end. Shows how differently and how quickly football can change and how different teams just match up against one another. What an effort by Callum Jones. It was like a ninja kick volley. Not orthodox, certainly the technique by the Welshman. I think that was his 9th of the year, which is pretty solid. Now we look to keep the clean sheet. Ref, just blow the whistle, please. I want my clean sheet. I don't want my bed wetting. Norris wins it. I mean, he wants to go forward. Look at him go. He wants to drive. He wants to go. Go all the way. Oh, my word. He hit the woodwork. If that had gone in, it's the most incredible goal you've seen all year from the left-back. Unfortunately, he was denied by his inability to shoot. But 3-0 it finishes. That is a performance which puts a smile on my face. Very, very happy with that. Smolyo keeping the clean sheet, which is always delightful. And Stockport County, who are top of the league, beaten. And you can see now everyone has played the same number of games. So we are 10 points behind Stockport. We're 11 points behind Swindon. Looking behind us, we're 11 points clear of Boston. So we're as close to the teams at the top as we are to the teams at the bottom. There's 13 games left of the season. And in terms of what I'm thinking now we get ploughing through towards the end of the year. What I think we may do is we may come back for the game against Hungerford if there is playoff positioning on the line. Because as I mentioned, the top 2 teams, in terms of second and third, they play in a latter stage of the playoffs. It's a bit of a weird format, but it makes sense. Essentially, if we're not secured in second or third, and we're battling it out with the team in fourth, there will be something to play for come the end of the year, and it would probably be worth our time to do the Hungerford game. If it doesn't work out like that, and if we are just, settled on a playoff spot, we'll actually come back next episode for the start of the playoffs. I do know it's a little unorthodox to play through as much as I'm about to play through going into next episode, but with how this season's played out, the playoffs, obviously there's a ton of spots. We don't really look in danger of falling out of it or climbing out of it. If stuff changes, I'll change my plans. I would love to believe that Swindon and Stockport are going to completely bottle things as we have in the month of January, but with fixture congestion easing up, that feels less and less likely. But anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up everything from me today. Let me know what you made of the matches, and also let me know what you made of the transfer fee for Gouda. I think it's a smart bit of business, and I'm very excited to see how good Shetsov could be. This could be the boy. 9 goals in 7 under-21 games. I'm already dreaming of him being Premier League quality. I'm sure we'll have a sobering realisation if and when he gets a work permit, and if he joins us on trial or not. But anyway, folks, thank you for watching. I'll catch you again tomorrow. It's me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.